Throughout the Western blot protocol, we need several different solutions for blocking, diluting antibodies, and washing. We often use a Western blot buffer as the base that is comprised of either phosphate buffered saline, known as PBS, or tris buffered saline, known as TBS. PBS and TBS are commonly used buffers during the various stages in Western blotting, and it's useful to know when to use each of them. The buffer you choose will depend on your proteins of interest and the antibodies used. We recommend you compare whether PBS or TBS buffers give you the highest final signal and lowest background for your specific targets. If you're experiencing high background issues, please refer to our Good Western's Gone Bad Troubleshooting Guide, which is linked in the summary. PBS and TBS are often interchangeable as dilution buffers for blocking. This is the case for HRP-labeled antibodies. However, not all blocking buffer formulations are suitable for every situation or antibody, and there are instances where PBS cannot be used. For example, PBS interferes with AP-labeled antibodies, and in this case, TBS should be used. TBS blocking buffers are also the best choice for detecting post-translational modifications such as phosphorylation. In the case of phosphoproteins, the primary antibody may not only bind to the phosphate groups on the protein of interest, but also to phosphate in the PBS-based buffer. This can significantly reduce your signal from the protein of interest. TBS buffer is therefore recommended for all post-translational protein detection. Blocking buffer solutions are not only comprised of the buffer component, PBS or TBS, but also a blocking agent. Blocking agents and buffers form a protein mixture that will block the charges on the membrane that would attract primary and secondary antibodies. Several protein-containing blocking agents are available, including non-fat dried milk powder known as NFDM and bovine serum albumin known as BSA. Protein blocking reagents can interfere with some antibody-antigen interactions. Additionally, some proteins may be directly recognized by primary or secondary antibodies causing high background. To overcome this, some blocking agents will use synthetic and/or non-animal proteins to prevent any cross-reactivity with the antibodies which are produced in animals. In addition to the buffer component and blocking agent, preservatives are also sometimes added to blocking buffers. Sodium azide is a common preservative added as it prevents the growth of contaminants such as bacteria and fungi. However, sodium azide can permanently inactivate HRP enzymes and therefore should not be used with Western blots in which HRP-labeled antibodies are used. There are several different blocking agents that can be used in the lab, including NFDM, BSA, whole serum, and gelatin. NFDM is one of the most commonly used blocking agents and is generally a good blocking agent. It's inexpensive, can easily be prepared in the lab, and is readily available. However, it should never be used when detecting phosphorylated proteins. Milk contains casein, a phosphoprotein that can be recognized by antiphospho antibodies, leading to nonspecific binding and high background. Casein can also interfere with antibodies labeled with AP. Milk cannot be used for streptavidin biotin detection systems either, because milk contains biotin, which can lead to cross-reactivity with the biotin-labeled secondary antibody. BSA is another commonly used protein blocker derived from the serum of cows. Similar to milk, it is a good general blocking agent that is easily prepared in the lab. BSA can be used to block membranes for phosphoproteins, AP-labeled antibodies, and streptavidin biotin detection systems. Because BSA contains only one single type of purified protein, and milk constitutes a number of mixed proteins, BSA is less likely to hinder antibody binding and is a good choice as a blocking agent. An alternative to NFDM and BSA is whole serum, which is derived commonly from horse, fetal calf, rabbit, and goat. Serum is more expensive than milk or BSA and offers little practical advantage, so it is less commonly used as a blocking agent. Whole serum contains immunoglobulins and serum proteins that could potentially cross-react with primary or secondary antibodies, leading to high nonspecific background. Gelatin can be used as an alternative to NFDM and BSA. While more commonly used in immunohistochemistry, fish gelatin can be used as a blocking agent for Western blots. Gelatin is more expensive than BSA and NFDM, but does not cross-react with mammalian proteins. Gelatin cannot be used with streptavidin biotin detection systems due to the presence of endogenous biotin. While it can decrease the background in some applications, fish gelatin can also mask some antigens and so is less commonly used for Western blot applications. Now that we have talked about several examples of blocking agents used for Western blotting, we will discuss some of the advantages of commercially available blockers compared to homemade solutions, as well as alternatives to the protein-based blockers we have already discussed.